No one expected the crowd in Asakusa to go silent. But in the very first second of this story, they did. Because a man who spent his life under stadium lights suddenly bowed, quietly, to a vendor selling paper fans on a narrow Tokyo street. It was Mookie Betts, the superstar, the MVP, the man whose name echoes through MLB ballparks like thunder. But here, in Japan, he wasn't the slugger with the $1 million swing. He was just a visitor, humble, curious, and almost too polite for a world that cheers for power, not quiet grace. People rushed toward him the moment they realized who he was. Phones went up. Voices rose. Some fans screamed. Others froze. And Mookie, he did the exact opposite of what anyone expected. He stepped back. Then he bowed. Deeply. Not once. Not twice. But 3 times, as if he were apologizing for existing too loudly. The vendors didn't know what to do. Tourists stared, wondering why a global superstar bowed like a schoolboy caught running in the hallway. And the Japanese fans, they felt something shift. A moment so gentle, so respectful, that it almost didn't feel real. A little boy in a Yakult Swallows cap approached him slowly. He held out a baseball with trembling hands. His father whispered, "Don't bother him, he's busy." But Mookie heard it, and he smiled the kind of smile that stops entire stories from collapsing. He knelt down to the child's eye level. A grown man worth millions folded his legs on the dusty street, ignoring the cameras, the crowd, the pressure. Ignoring everything except a child who dreamed of baseball. He asked the boy's name. He signed the ball. Then he whispered something. No one could hear it, but everyone saw the boy's face burst into fireworks. Later, when a reporter asked the kid what Mookie said, the boy answered softly, "He told me, be kind first. The rest follows." And just like that, a routine autograph became a legend. But the day wasn't done with Mookie. Not even close. Asakusa's streets tightened around him. Fans poured in. Selfie sticks floated above the crowd like antennas. People shouted from every direction, some in English, many in Japanese. Another star might have panicked. Another athlete might have waved, smiled, and ducked into a waiting car. Mookie didn't. He pressed himself against a storefront wall so an elderly couple could pass through untouched. He held the door open for a man carrying a toddler on his shoulders. He stopped to admire a handmade omamori charm as if he had all the time in the world. And then, the moment that broke the internet happened. A street musician played a soft shamisen melody. Mookie listened for a few seconds. And then, in a move that no one expected, he dropped a generous tip, bowed, and asked permission to clap along. The musician laughed in disbelief. The crowd cheered, and Mookie joined in with gentle, respectful applause. Not as the MLB superstar, but as a grateful guest humbled by a culture he clearly admired. One photographer caught something extraordinary in that moment. Mookie's eyes. They weren't wandering, searching, calculating, or posing. They were present, soft, maybe even emotional, as if Asakusa wasn't just a place he visited, but a place that touched him before he even understood why. Later, when the sun began to fall behind the red lanterns, Mookie made one final gesture. He approached the same vendor from earlier, the one selling paper fans. He didn't ask for a discount. He didn't ask for special treatment. He waited in line behind 10 tourists as if he were invisible. When his turn arrived, he bought a simple, hand-painted fan. Nothing flashy, nothing expensive. The vendor recognized him, eyes wide, hands shaking. She tried to refuse his money. He insisted, then gave her double the price. She bowed. He bowed lower. That photo, Mookie Betts, nearly folded in half before a small elderly vendor under red lanterns, became the symbol of his entire trip. People argued online. He didn't have to do that. He didn't need to be this humble. That's why Japan fell in love with him. But the truth is far simpler. Mookie didn't act humble. He is humble. And Japan recognized it instantly. By the time he left Asakusa that evening, fans weren't shouting his name. They were thanking him for his respect, for his kindness, for reminding everyone that greatness is not measured only in home runs or awards, but in how gently a man can walk through a foreign country and still make people feel seen. And when Mookie finally disappeared into the night, one last voice rose from the crowd. "Come back soon." He turned, bowed one more time, and that final bow, quiet, sincere, almost shy, is what people still talk about today. Not the cameras, not the crowd, not the fame, just a man who carried humility like a superpower, and left an entire nation whispering. That is how a legend behaves.